Iman Gadzhi has made millions of dollars, and you might know him for selling info products or for being partnered with Warp. But what does he think about dropshipping and e-commerce, and is his advice even any good regarding this topic? Let's get into it. Okay, I'm interested to see what his opinions are on e-commerce and dropshipping, because he basically only sells info, and from my understanding, he originally came from SMMA, which is social media marketing, and then he made an agency, and then he sold different info products and courses related to that specific business model. Now, I think he does have some experience in e-commerce from selling his eyewear, his branded products which he fulfills. So he has some experience in that, although I think that's mainly linked to his personal brand. I don't think he's ever done any kind of advertising or marketing for it, but I could be entirely wrong with that. So it's not like he's never tried it, but dropshipping's never been his main business model, do bear in mind.
Now, when it comes to difficulty, I would say this model is incredibly difficult, okay? Being truly successful with dropshipping in 2025 is very difficult. And by the way, it just seems to be getting harder and harder and harder. The amount of trial and error when testing products coupled with the levels of competition in the market means the learning curve is steep. It can take months, half a year to even become profitable. So let's summarize dropshipping. Upfront capital, 2,000 to 5,000. Scalability is moderate. Fulfillment is moderate. Risk is high and difficulty is hard. So listen, despite popular belief and all the stuff that you've been sold, dropshipping takes a lot of effort and high risk tolerance to be successful.
Okay, so he's not wrong with this. He's basically saying that the learning curve is getting even greater and it's getting harder and harder. This is kind of like a double-sided coin, because things are getting a little bit tougher, but at the same time, because of AI and the adoption of kind of new technologies, new solutions, new ways to actually innovate and do things, it's also getting a lot easier as well. Anyone can just get started now and create a whole bunch of ad creators, for an example, with AI. They can just make hundreds of image ads. They can even make video ads if they've got enough credits and money for that, which you could never do before because you had to make like a whole creative team. So you can get started a lot easier. Things are a lot more affordable and cheaper, but you do still need to acquire the knowledge. So I think he's wrong in the sense that things are just continuously getting harder. I think you just have to innovate and do things a little bit differently, and I think it's a lot easier for beginners to get started with dropshipping now. So I think he's wrong in that regard. Then we take a look at his graph. So he says upfront capital to start, you need $2,000 to $5,000. I think this is actually quite accurate, because if you don't have like a decent chunk of capital to get started, you will basically fail. Because I think I started with like £2,000 or something saved up originally when I first hit my first major winning product, and I was trying to scale it even slowly, but I still burned that 2,000 very quickly trying to scale, because at the time I didn't really have any knowledge of cash flow, when the money would actually come in my bank, and you have so many incomings and outgoings that are constantly yo-yo in your bank account. And I basically burnt through that money really quickly. Then I had to borrow like 1,000 or 2,000 to then sustain it, and then that let me actually slowly grow and scale and obviously balance my money. So you do need a few $1,000s. So when people make videos like how to get started with $0 dropshipping, do take it with a grain of salt, because you do need money to invest front up. The only ways to start with $0 is basically to do organic dropshipping, and then even then you need money for like the subscriptions and the tech stacks and all the tools you're going to use as well. So you do need some money to get started with typical dropshipping with ads and media buying. If you're going to spend money on Facebook ads, you definitely do need a few $1,000s. He also says scalability moderate. This is completely false. Scalability is very high in e-commerce. I think he's probably, in my personal humble opinion, I think he's probably written that because this is obviously taken from a video sales letter. So the whole purpose of this video, everyone's done the same kind of business video, is to sell obviously SMMA or whatever his learning is that he was selling. So the best thing to do is obviously to highlight that topic as the best one out of the bunch, and that's just normal marketing. But the information obviously on this is not entirely accurate. Scalability is very high with e-commerce. I think honestly it's probably the quickest business to go from broke to rich. If you find something that works, all you have to do is just scale up the ads. It's not as simple as that. Obviously you need like the whole creative engine to actually be able to scale ads, but you can go from a low amount of money to a high amount of money very quickly. So that's wrong. Fulfillment moderate, I don't even know what that means. That makes no sense. What does that actually mean? I don't know. Risk high, that can be true, but it depends on a lot of different factors. So it's high risk, for an example, if you don't have a good fulfillment fulfillment back end. So if you're not fulfilling all your orders properly and they don't get sent out on time, you're going to get a lot of chargebacks. It's high risk if you're selling things you're not supposed to be, then you're also going to get a lot of chargebacks. It's high risk for people who don't fulfill things at all, which is extremely black hat, wrong, and just stupid. So there is high risk depending on what you're actually doing, your experience, and if you don't have a good back-end setup. Difficulty hard, this is also true. I think it's very hard to get into at the start, but I think with the amount of learning resources nowadays, I think everyone can get started. And he does say that it's going to take like months to years to actually get success. The first semi-winner, which I think ended in total break-even for me, that took me 3 months, and then to find the winning product that was actually a winner after that took me another 3 months, which was total of 6 months when I really locked in. So I think typically 3 to 6 months to find a good product or a winning product, and that's if you're starting on a low budget and you don't have lots of capital to just spam mass tests like most people are doing now. So that's more of a realistic stats in my opinion.
E-commerce and especially dropshipping was honestly a viable model for beginners. The thing is now, if you want to get into e-commerce, you actually need a branded product. You need supply chains, you need a good manufacturer, you need distribution channels. And the thing most people forget is you need really good customer support. All of that, and then also remember the margins. I've seen it time and time again where people will spend $500,000 on ads on a product that has 50% margins, and just so they can be like, oh, I'm making $1 million a month with my e-commerce store, and they make a bunch of YouTube videos about it and this and that. And I mean, you can do the math, 500,000 ad spend on a 50% margin product. This person's not making any money, especially with chargebacks, refunds, disputes, etc., etc.
So he was saying in the past it was honestly a viable business model to get started in, but now it's not, because now you need a branded product. He says you need a branded product, you need a good supply chain, a good manufacturer, etc. This is true. This is why most people are doing branded dropshipping now, but tell that to the Asians on Facebook ads who are running the most generic, like kitchen food slicer with the most generic old school ads, and they're still printing money. So you don't need to necessarily do a branded store. It's the best for the long term, but there's people doing old school dropshipping with terrible websites making a lot of money, so that's not necessarily 100% true. But he is right that you need a good supply chain. We talked about that a few moments ago. If you have a terrible back end, things are going to go belly up for you. And then he also says you need a good manufacturer. That's obviously dependent on if you're running a brand with custom products. It doesn't obviously pertain to dropshipping always, because you don't need to manufacture anything with dropshipping. I'm in the process of being able to actually customize a product potentially that's doing decently well for me, which has good potential. That's able to be done with dropshipping, but you still do have, for the custom packaging, an MOQ figure. Okay, so a minimum order quantity you need to order for the custom packaging on demand. So that's very similar to manufacturing, even though it's custom packaging, but you can still do it with dropshipping. He says you need really good customer support. That's also really true. At the start, when I was scaling that winning product, the first one, I was getting swamped with so many customer support requests, and people get really needy, and it also gets annoying, and you need to have your eye on the ball. And I was replying, it took like 1 to 2 hours a day to fill all the requests at like mid-scale. And when I actually hired someone to take over that for me, it just lifted a huge weight off my shoulders. But even recently, I realized that after like 1 year of great work, the customer support manager was slacking really badly and hadn't responded to support requests for about 20 days, which is a really big problem and obviously a red flag. Now, they were working consistently for like a year, but that was down to me not monitoring her enough. So it's really important you have that locked in place. I thought I had it locked in place because I would occasionally kind of check in like weekly and just say, do you need anything, what's good? But I wasn't checking the actual customer support request properly myself. So what we are going to do, I think, in the near future, when we get more requests, is I'm going to hire like an individual manager to watch over her, because I think that's a really good hire to make. So it's important to keep all these structures flowing really well. And even if something's been working a while for you, if you don't have the right things in place, people can just naturally slack off. So if you hire someone to do customer service, they're not always going to be perfect. You need to obviously keep them in line and make sure they're doing the work. Now, I'm obviously going to give that employee another chance, but they can't obviously slack off a second time, otherwise you're going to have to fire them, right? Because if you don't have good customer support, he is right in this clip, they will screw everything up. trust me. Now he says here about margins, where he says as an example, he knows people that have spent 500k for 50% margins, and then he says people spending that much money just to claim big revenue figures. This is also a big thing that goes on in e-commerce. Some people, they don't show the profit margins at all, so they'll spend like crazy high amounts of money, they'll show a big revenue figure, and then they just won't tell you how much profit they're making. They might even make like 5% profit or break even. Now that is something that does happen. There's some gurus that do that, but I think it's less common than you think. He's also saying people claim to make 50% margins and then don't actually make any money. Yeah, again, I think a little less common than you think. I think he's just kind of throwing stuff around here like generalizations. But he mentions like after chargebacks and stuff like that, you will have a lower margin. That's true. I think for most people, especially if you're running something like fashion, I think you know that someone's obviously a fake guru if they're telling you that they're running like 30-35% margins in the end with something like fashion. The realistic thing is like sometimes like 10 to 13, maybe even 15% is good after chargebacks. So you're not always going to be like 20, 30, 40% margins even after everything's factored in.
Historically, I have never been a fan of dropshipping over the years, and that is because when you are first starting out in business, it's about choosing business models where the risk to reward ratio is in your favor. And I've seen it time and time again over the past few years where people will spend hell even $10,000 on ads and it just doesn't work. When it comes to dropshipping, everyone thinks the most important thing is having a fancy headline or fancy creative or all of this, when no, the most important thing is.
Okay, so this is just a short, it's kind of a whole load of nothing he's saying here. This is just kind of word salads, right? This is obviously a smart video because it hooks into actually watching a long form video. So the whole purpose of this is to get you to watch the channel. So it's actually pretty clever. This isn't like a value drop video. This is just to like hook people into his channel and funnel. But he doesn't really explain the reason why dropshipping doesn't work. He just says over the past few years, people have spent loads of money. He kind of said the same things he did before when he mentioned 500,000 ad spend, but this time he said 10,000, and then he says the most important thing is, and it cuts off. So next clip.
The thing is, I can only teach what I've done. So I can teach agency and maybe a couple other things, but also I need to be able to teach what I've done, because I've done e-commerce. I do 7 figures a year with e-commerce, but that's not because of skill. Like, that's just because I have an audience. So it would be wrong of me to try to pretend that like I could teach that to someone.
So I actually respect this greatly. So he's basically saying he can only teach what he's done, and he's kind of attributing the revenue he gets from his eyewear brand. I presume that's what he's talking about, because I think that's his only e-commerce brand. He's saying he does 7 figures a year with that, but it's attributed mainly to his personal brand. So people who follow him and kind of see his lifestyle, maybe on Instagram or even off his YouTube or his vlogs, will purchase from him because of that. But he hasn't run the company with paid ads without a face behind it, because he is the identity behind that brand, and it's obviously named after his name. So he's saying he's not all that experienced in like marketing behind a faceless brand, which is actually a really admirable thing to say, right? Because a lot of people will be like really kind of vain and big-headed when they've done big numbers like he has in business. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'd also be interested to see if he could actually run a business. I mean, he's had a lot of success in other areas of business like agency and SMMA, and I think info is actually a quite hard business to run, to actually sell courses to people and actually convince them to buy something and obviously join your learning. So obviously the numbers he's done have been respectable. He's not in the same kind of business model as us, so obviously he's going to have different opinions on it. And I think the takeaway from this video is just that not everyone's going to like the same thing. Not everyone's going to find their success in the same business model, but they still have different things that they can teach you, and you can learn from those and then implement them into your business too. I'm sure there's a lot of sales strategies that he uses that we could implement into our business somehow as well. So this is just a quick video on what Iman Gadzhi thinks about e-commerce and dropshipping, what his opinions are, and whether he's actually good at it or not, and whether he likes it or not. So did you agree with what he said? Do you think he knows a lot about it, or do you think he doesn't really have that much experience in the business model? Let me know in the comments. I think he personally knows a decent amount about e-commerce, and he does have a little bit of experience in it, but it's just not really his thing, and he obviously see as better, a different business model, which is completely fine. So if you like this video, make sure to like the video and subscribe. I'll be dropping some more videos soon. We post a lot of free value in this channel about what I'm doing to run my own e-commerce brand and my marketing strategies. And you can also check out the community down below if you want to join and follow the learning as well. I've got a whole bunch of free videos on this channel, so make sure to check those out. And I'll try and put like 1 or 2 videos now on the end screen that might actually be useful for you to watch next.